The tallest Christmas tree ever recorded was over 220 feet tall. Hi, I'm Katie from Lady Red Crafting, and while our trees won't reach the ceiling, I'm showing you 3 amazing Dollar Tree wood ornaments that are easy to make, completely different, and look way more high-end than their price tag. So let's get crafting. Here's a quick and easy way to elevate those wood ornaments from the Dollar Tree. Let's start out by taping down our little ornament to a paintable surface. Then I'm going to grab my apple barrel nutmeg brown paint. I'm going to do a nice coat of paint on both sides of this ornament. Now to get the color brown that I wanted, I did do 2 coats of paint on both sides. Now, once everything has dried, I did grab one of these silk screens that I had in my stash, and these are available on Amazon, and I will put a link for it in my description box below. So I'm just going to lay this silk screen over the top of our ornament. Now, using my chalk paste from Redesign in Vintage Lace, I'm going to squeegee this on top of our ornament. If you haven't done this before, the chalk paste is a lot thicker of a paint. And so you use a squeegee instead of a brush because then you're able to kind of control where the paint is going a little bit easier. This works really well when you're using these silk screens or even just regular stencils. And while everything is still wet, you're going to go ahead and remove that silk screen from our ornament. And I'm just going to pull this off really gently. Then I'm going to take this to a sink and wash it with some soapy warm water. And once everything has dried on our ornament, we'll go ahead and repeat this on the other side. Now, once our ornament has completely dried, I'm going to take this little vintage bow that I made out of some lace, and I'm going to add that to the top of our ornament using some hot glue. And for our hanger, I'm going to be using this cream satin ribbon. And now our vintage gingerbread themed ornament is ready to hang. I just love how this turns out. This is such an easy craft and totally elevates those little ornaments from the Dollar Tree. Let's take this little wood tree cutout to the next level. I'm going to start out by using some Mod Podge here, and I'm going to take the Mod Podge and paint a nice coat over the top of our ornament. And while our Mod Podge is drying, I'm going to prep this napkin. And I felt like this napkin had a really cool vintage look, and I wanted to use this on this piece. So to prep our napkin, I removed the back 2 layers. Next, I'm going to lay this napkin over the top of our ornament. And using a little piece of parchment paper, we'll layer that right on top. Next, I'm going to grab my heat press, but you could use an iron if you'd like on the low setting. And we're just going to iron our napkin right onto our ornament. Next, I grab my zip sander, and I'm just going to sand in a downward motion to remove any excess napkin. Once we have everything removed, we're going to repeat these same steps on the back side of our ornament. So we'll add the Mod Podge, iron on our napkin, sand off any of the excess, and now we'll have a double-sided ornament beautifully decoupaged. Let's go on to our next step. We will need some Mod Podge, our foil package from Dollar Tree, 2 small brushes, and a larger brush. So I'm going to start out by using this really small, thin brush, and I'm going to paint some thin lines on our napkin. using the Mod Podge. So I'm just kind of tracing down the lines that are in the napkin here, and I'm only doing a little section at a time. Now I'm going to add the foil to put on top of the Mod Podge while it is still wet. So I'm going to be using a little bit bigger brush for this, but it's still a pretty small paintbrush. And this brush is completely dry, and I'm just going to kind of pat down where I want the foil to go on top of the Mod Podge. Now this is going to overlay on it, and that is completely fine. I ended up dumping out these little pieces here because the foil that you get from the Dollar Tree is more of like the leftover pieces when you get sheets of foil from somewhere else. So these are great. I wanted to show using this for an ornament, and it's good for something small like this, but sometimes the sheets may work better depending on what you're doing. And now we're going to continue this process until we have the foil where we want on the front of this ornament. I'm just going to be doing the lines on this, and then I'm going to do the star. And don't worry, it is going to look a little bit messy. Now we're going to take that larger brush, it's dry, and we're just going to kind of dry brush over the top of the foil and just lightly remove any of the excess foil that's not glued down with our Mod Podge. And once we have completed the first side of our ornament, we're going to flip our ornament over and repeat the same steps on the other side. And once we are satisfied with our foil on both sides of our ornament, let's go ahead and add a hanger to our ornament. I'm going to take my pokey tool here from Cricut, and I'm just going to re-add that hole back into our ornament since that was filled in with our decoupage. Oh, and before I forget, after we add that hole, I did seal this with my glossy Mod Podge acrylic spray, and I did take this outside and do both sides of the ornament. And it did take about a half an hour to dry on both sides. Now for my hanger, I did take a sheer ribbon and I just tied that through the hole there. And I added one of those pearls from the Dollar Tree just to give it more of a vintage vibe. Now we could stop there, but I did want to add a sheer bow up at the top to kind of cover the hole where the hanger was. So I'm just going to hot glue that little bow right into place. And now here is what our adorable little tree ornament looks like. I just love how this looks. I feel like this gives it an upscale look with a vintage vibe. Let me know what you think about this ornament down in the comments below. And if you're enjoying this content, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps my channel grow. Thanks! Hi crafty friends, it's time to announce September giveaway winners. First up, congratulations to Bonnie for her beautiful snowman cutting board. It was absolutely adorable. Another big congratulations to Maria for her vintage truck Christmas tag. Such a charming and creative piece. If you would like a chance to win fun prizes, be sure to sign up for Lady Red Crafting newsletter. You'll get exclusive giveaways, craft inspiration, and all the latest updates delivered right to your inbox. To sign up, just look in the description box below and click on the link. Don't miss out, join us today, and let's get crafty together. This craft is starting out with some wood ornaments from the Dollar Tree and some toilet paper. Yeah, that's right, toilet paper. So what we're going to do with this toilet paper is I'm just going to tear off some of the sheets of the toilet paper and just add them to a little bowl. Once we filled our bowl, I'm taking my Delta Creative Luxe Metallic White Paint, and I'm just going to add that to the top of the toilet paper. And I probably put about a tablespoon and a half in there when I was all done with putting my paint in. Next, I'm going to add a little bit of water, and I'm going to stir this up with a paintbrush until it is to the consistency that I would like. Now, this technique works well with any acrylic paint, so you can use any color that you'd like. I've really been enjoying these Luxe metallic paints from Delta Creative. They have like a shimmer of sparkle to them, but it's not overpowering, so it's not like a sparkle paint. And it's a creamier white. I'd say it's more of a soft white, and I just really like the look. So once we have our paint to our consistency we would like, I go ahead and tape down one of these ornaments to a paintable surface, and using my paintbrush, I'm just going to spread this paint over the top of the ornament. And this is more of a set down the paint onto it, or like you're spooning it from your paintbrush, and then you're just tapping that down into place. So then everything is nice, and it gives this amazing texture by having that toilet paper in there. And once we complete the first ornament, I'm going to go ahead and repeat this step on my other two ornaments. And I find by taping these ornaments down onto a little piece of cardboard, this makes it a lot easier because this is going to take overnight to dry. So what I'm able to do once I've added this paint to each one of these ornaments is I can just take that piece of cardboard and lift it lightly and move it to somewhere to dry while I'm working on other projects. And while the paint is still wet, I do take my little Cricut tool here, and this is just the pokey tool that you use for weeding, and I'm just going to poke that into the hole where the ornament would be hung from, because I want to make sure that the paint doesn't dry and fill that hole in. Now let's go ahead and set these aside for 24 hours to completely dry. So now that everything is dried, I do want to put a few little highlights around the edges of these ornaments. And I'm using my Delta Creative Luxe Metallic Silver and my Folk Art Sugar Metallic Meteorite. And now we're going to just dry brush a little bit of that paint on the outside edges of these ornaments. And now once the paint has dried, I'm taking some black satin ribbon and I'm just going to go ahead and tie some little hangers onto these ornaments. And now that we have our hanger, for our last finishing touch, I'm taking some sheer silver ribbon and making little bows. And I'm just going to hot glue a little bow to the top of our ornament. And now our trio of ornaments is complete, and I just love how these turned out. The toilet paper really elevates these ornaments in a way that you would never expect. So I would love to hear from you guys today. I am from Washington State, so where are you guys watching from? Let me know in the comments below. So, what ornament was your favorite? Number 1, number 2, or number 3? I'd love to know in the comments below. And that's a wrap for today's projects. I hope these ideas inspired you to get creative with your Dollar Tree finds. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, hype it, or subscribe for more easy, beautiful crafts. Until next time, please remember, craft more, stress less.